Rate of tourism, much tests. So, of course, according to our question paper, we are going to start with instructions, whereby we are being informed that this test consists of 4 sections and 4 questions. So, we've got section A, which is contextual questions, section B are global events, section C, tour plans, section D, time zones. So, of course, we have to answer all the questions in this section unless otherwise stated. But, of course, as it stands, we see that we answer all the questions that we are given, which means all questions are compulsory. Then if you check question 3.1, it has an addendum A. Then we've got also question 4, whereby we have to use addendum B. So that is what we have. So start on the first part that we have, which is our multiple choice section. So the first question is the next Olympic Games will be hosted in. So we see that the next Olympics will be in 2028, being held in USA, that is Los Angeles. So, of course, the seat is Los Angeles, and the country is USA, which we do not have according to our responses that we have here. Then I'll move on to the second question. Dash will be the host of the 2017 World Tourism Day. The theme for the 2017 celebrations is sustainable tourism, a tool for development. World Tourism Day is the largest international tourism event and is celebrated annually on 27th September. So that the 2017 World Tourism Day uh, was held in Qatar. So we have Qatar as a correct answer. Then moving on to 1.1.3, how will the map below available on the internet influence tourism to South Africa? So it is that on the map there, we see that it's an African map and there is no Ebola written inside the map. So which means the whole continent is free of Ebola. So that's what it means. So according to our responses and how it will influence tourism, so that obviously it's going to be a positive influence. So since it's indicating that there is no Ebola in the African continent. So with that, uh, we have got C as the correct answer, whereby it is Ebola is under control in Africa. Tourists will still visit South Africa. So that is the correct response. And moving on to the next question, which is now question 4, whereby it says when planning your holiday route, A will represent. So we see that A obviously is going to be the departure allocation indicated as A, as we see that it means go online route, and then there's a goal that we see there. So it basically means it's the starting point of your route. So we have got B as the correct answer. On the next question is going to number 5. Number 5, we have got information that we were given before the question, which is all children born in South Africa after 14 March 2013 will automatically be issued a valid and free unabridged birth certificate. Everyone upon before that date, and those from countries for whom unabridged certificates were not automatically issued must apply for the document well before their travel date. So this statement was a big concern for travel agents in South Africa, which claimed that tourist numbers declined because of this policy. In other branch certificate, it shows, so we see that on the A, we see that we have got a response of both parents' names, and then B, only the father's name, and we see we have got C, only the mother's name, then D, the grandparents' name. We see that in unabridged birth certificate, it shows it is an official document containing comprehensive details of the child's birth, including both parents' names. And also it includes ID numbers and citizenship. So it is a mandatory for minors under 18 traveling in or out of South Africa to prevent child trafficking. So the main aim of that birth certificate is to prevent child trafficking. So basically, with the responses that we given, we see that the correct answer that we have is both parents' names, as indicated in the description. So we have A. We're moving on to the next question, which is 1.1.6, which reads a dash is designed to help South Africans that must wait for connecting flights at other airports or seaports. This visa gives permission for a stay over in the United Kingdom for a period of no longer than 48 hours. So you see that we have the correct answer that we have as a transit visa that we have for C. And then we have number 7, the dash longitude line determines how standard time is calculated across the world. So the correct answer is that it is a 0-degree longitude line. So you see that a 0-degree longitude line is also called the time meridian, whereby it is the line which represents the starting point for measuring distance both east and west around Earth. So that is the 0-degree longitude line. So you see that every place on the Earth is measured in terms of its angle, east or west from this line. So this dates back to 1984 when it started being used. So you'd see that the prime meridian is served as the reference point for GMT, that is for Greenwich Mean Time. So basically, this is what we have in terms of the explanation of the 0-degree longitude line. Then we move on to the next question that we have, which is now number 8. So number 8, it is 12 o'clock at night on the 24-hour clock. Will be referred to as the correct answer that we have is D, which is 0-100 hours, which we have on D. So this represents 12 midnight. Then number 9, if it is 1400 in Johannesburg, what would the time be in Cairo, Egypt? So if we will refer to our map, you would see that Johannesburg and Cairo, Egypt, this time is the same as they share the same position. So if we go to our map, you'll see that it remains as 1400 hours. So we'll see that if we put 400 hours in Johannesburg, it will be also 400 hours in Egypt. So if you refer to our map, you'll see that this is our map. And if we try to identify where we have Johannesburg. So you see that we have got Johannesburg in this part. So this is Johannesburg, and then we check where we have Egypt. Again, still in the African continent that we have got Egypt. So we have got Cairo at this point. So we see that they are at the same line, which indicates same time. So if you go up, you'll see that it is going to at the same position, which is +2, +2, which means they share the same time. So basically, this is what we have at this point, which makes our answer to be 1400 hours. So moving on to number 10. The following image is an example of a dash itinerary. So we can just try to zoom it out and see which itinerary is that. So we are given a picture that we have there, which we need to identify which one is the correct answer. So you see that the correct answer is that it is a customer-made, customer-made itinerary. So that is the correct answer according to information that we are given. See that is a reference to John's family. So so you'll see that a customer-made itinerary is a personalized and detailed travel plan tailored to specific preferences, including curated flights, accommodations, activities, and transportation. So it moves beyond generic tours to focus on individual interests. That is, at the end of the day, offering flexibility while optimizing daily routes for maximum enjoyment. So with the information that you are given, you see that they are indicating a personalized detailed travel plan, which makes them a a customer-made itinerary. So basically, this is what we have on this part. Then moving on to the next part, whereby we have got 1.2. It reads, refer to the following information from a tourism update and match the event or situation with the phrase or word in the following word bank. Right, only the correct phrase or word next to the question number. So we've got question 1 to 10. So of course, we see that these are the words or terms that are indicated that we are supposed to choose from, and the related term, and we are going to relate them to the information that we are given starting from 1.2.1. So these are reflections of the year 2016. So of course, 1.2.1, we are given the Egypt air disaster June 2016. So we relate the Egypt air disaster June 2016 to the words that we are given there. So of course, you'd see that from the words that we are supposed to choose from, these are the words that we have. So you'd see that the correct answer is that it is an air disaster. Air disaster is the correct one. You see that we have got an aeroplane that we are seeing inside the picture that we have. So our correct answer on 1.2.1 is air disaster. Then we move on to the next question. So see that on 1.2.2, we are given the 22nd session of the conference of the parties COP 2022 to the UNFCCC was held on 7th, 18 November 2016 in Marrakech, Morocco. So with that again, we relate to information that we are given, but you'll see that as indicated on 1.2.2, correct response would be a summit. So that indicates a summit. So we have 1.2.2, we do have a summit as the correct answer. So we are saying summit. Then we move on to 1.2.3. Whereby 1.2.3, we do have spreading of the Zika virus. So this is a virus, of course, this is a disease. So with the information that we have, we see that we have got also disease that we have here, which makes a disease a correct response on 1.2.3. So 1.2.3, we do have disease as the correct answer. Then we move on to 1.2.4. 1.2.4, we've got the June 2016 Istanbul bombing. So which one do we relate to that? On 1.2.4, this is a bombing that transpired in Istanbul. So the correct option that we have according to the responses is an act of terrorism. Act of terrorism. And of course, this is 1.2.4. So we have it is indicated as an act of terrorism. Then 1.2.5. We have got 2016 Olympics and Summer Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So we see that this is a global sporting event. Global sporting event. Of course, we have that response in the options that we have. Global sporting event. We've got a global sporting event on this part. Then we move on to the next one, which is now 1.2.6, which is US economy, April 2016, 3 classic recession signals are flashing red. So you see that this is an economic upset. Of course, we do have economic upset in our responses, which is on this part. Then on the next one is 1.2.7, which is the Comrade Marathon in May 2016. The Comrades Marathon May 2016. Remember, this is also a global. The Comrades Marathon it's an event that takes place between Durban and Pietermaritzburg, and stretches approximately 88 to 90 kilometers. And of course, it is a global event that draws thousands of international runners to tackle the up or down run and offering a challenging, life-changing experience regarded as the ultimate human race. So this is what we have in terms of the Comrades Marathon. So we are saying it's a global sporting event. So we go to 1.2.8, 2016, Fort McMurray wildfire. That is in Canada. May 2016, the most expensive disaster in Canadian history. So what can we relate according to the responses that we have there? So you'll see that according to the responses that we have, it is a natural disaster. We have a natural disaster that we have in that part. So we have this part as our correct answer. So we move on to the next question, which is now 1.2.9. So 1.2.9, this fireworks disaster at Kerala Temple kills 106 in South India, April 2016. So this is what we have. And then with the responses that we have, you'll see that this is a disaster which is taking place at a temple. So it is a religious disaster. What a religious disaster, of course, in terms of our responses on this part. Then we move on to the next one, which is number 8, whereby it number 8 we did look at it. So we are moving on to number 10, which is Sydney, Australia experienced the worst storm in 40 years. So of course, this is again a natural disaster, and this marks at the end of our section A with a total of 20 marks. Section B is on global events. So question 2, read the following adapted article and answer the question that follows. They're given an article, 300 firefighters head to Canada with petrol wildfire. So this is the information that you are given that you just need to go through before attempting to answer the question. So in terms of the first question, it reads, discuss 3 negative impacts of the blazing fire on international tourism on the country. So of course, we have got the explanation in terms of this fire that we have. So it reads, more than 300 South African firefighters are preparing to head to Canada to help petrol a raging wildfire. So we've got South Africans that are heading to Canada to fight this raging wildfire. And then the question is discuss the negative impacts on the blazing fire on international tourism on the country. So obviously, it's going to be a negative effect as we are going to see decrease in tourist numbers because of that fire. And also tourist attractions are going to be destroyed by that fire. Those are some of the negatives that we can quickly deduce. So within that context, we'll see that these are the correct answers that we have. Decrease in tourist numbers, tourist attractions are destroyed, infrastructure is destroyed, and accessibility limited. Also have higher unemployment and loss in revenue from tourism businesses. We have a negative impact on the country's economic growth. Loss in profits may lead to retrenchments. Loss in revenue also is another negative that we can do. So question 2, name the type of global event Canada is dealing with. What is the global event that is there in terms of that raging fire? So you'd see that this is classified as unforeseen occurrence. It is an unforeseen occurrence that we have here at 2.1.2. Unforeseen occurrence is an unexpected, or it can be unplanned. We can call it an unplanned event, or it's an unanticipated event that is transpired. So in this case, we have got this fire that is breaking out, which means it was unexpected. So it is classified as an unforeseen occurrence. So it comes as a surprise, often disrupting plans or causing delays. This is the most appropriate term that we can give to the situation that we have. So go to number 3. List 2 positive impacts coming from the fire in Canada. What are the positives that we can deduce? So we see that there is a collaboration that is taking place between Canada and South Africa. So there will be international relations between South Africa and Canada. Obviously, they will be tightened due to the assistance that is coming from South Africa. Then also, if firefighters of South Africa get the opportunity to gain experience in a different type of firefighting, the experience they gain in Canada can benefit them when they are back in South Africa. So that is what we have. Then on the next question, you have to read the following adapted article and other questions that follow. So we're given an article of airlines to refund pregnant passengers. So what it reads is, if you are pregnant and scheduled to travel to a destination outside the USA that is affected by Zika, you and your travel companions can request a refund. To qualify, we must provide a doctor's note confirming your pregnancy and stating your inability to travel due to Zika. So, of course, we have also given a map whereby we put countries with active Zika transmission and what a list that we have on that part. And 2.2.1 discuss the country where the 2016 Olympic Games took place. So, of course, we see that this is Brazil. So, Brazil is the correct answer for the 2016 event. So, we go to the next question. 2.2.2. The Zika virus is a mosquito-borne illness first discovered in 1947 in Uganda's Zika forest when an isolated incident of the virus was discovered in a monkey. Zika is prevalent in the country. You mentioned in question 2.2.1, which is Brazil. Explain to the government of that country how mosquito bites could have been avoided before the onset of the Olympic Games. So in response to that, these are the ways of. So the first point is that the use of mosquito repellent also can prevent mosquitoes. Clothing that covers most of the body, mosquito nets at night, screens on windows and doors. Workers can disinfect the area where the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, take place. So these are the options that we have. And then, of course, on the last question, explain how the presence of Zika affected the Olympic Games in the country you mentioned in question 2.2.1, which is Brazil. How the presence of Zika affected. So you see that correct responses whereby decrease in tourist numbers attending the Olympic Games, loss in revenue, that is GDP, gross domestic product, for the country is less people than expected are coming. May lead to changements, a loss of confidence in Brazil's ability to maintain a safe mosquito-free area for the attendance, a loss of confidence in Brazil's ability to employ health and safety measures. Well-known athletes did not want to participate in fear of the disease. So, of course, this is the last part of our session B with a total of 20 marks. Question 3. So our question 3 is on tour plans, and this is our section C. So our question 3.1, we start all the given information below and answer the questions that follow. This is the information that you are given. So the information means Carlos and Maria Fernandez from Rio de Janeiro, heard by word of mouth from South Africans who visited at the Rio Festival about the Namaqualand flowers and arid area. They decided there and then to visit South Africa. They will fly up from Rio on 8 August 2017 to Cape Town to start their tour. They will return on 15 September 2017. They will stay in Cape Town for 4 days to visit some attractions there. Then they will hire a 4x4 vehicle to tour through the Namaqualand and visit the Richards Field and Kalagadi, start the Maple and Nedam A to see where they will tour. They will spend 2 nights at each accommodation to make sure that they will be able to visit most of the attractions in the area. So, of course, I believe that we are given flight information from Rio de Janeiro to Cape Town and back, but we can see that the total amount that is needed for to and from is 14,297. And of course, this indicates for one person. So here for one person, 10 is 14,297 rands. And there are two stops that are being indicated that are there. So we go through the information. Of course, we also have a flight information from Appington to Cape Town. For one person, we've got 2,367 rands. So then we've got flight information from Appington to Cape Town. We also see that this is another a part of the information that we are given. Then on the next part, we are given car rental in Cape Town International Airport. Of course, the total is 6,652 rand 72 cents. We see that it was before 7,607 rands 46 cents, but then the now price is 6,652 rand 72 cents. Then accommodation, you see that this is the accommodation given. We have got 1, 2, 3 going down to the last accommodation that you are given is on 8. Then you are given a road map and distances of Namakato. So we are having leg 1 going down to leg 8. Then the question says use the map on addendum A and attach it to the rest of your answer sheet. Question 3.1 to 3.3 must be completed on the map. So take note that it must be completed on the map on this part. That question 3.1.1 to 3.1.3 must be completed on the map. Very important to take note of that part. Then, of course, these are the 3 questions that should be answered on the map. So the first question says use the direction arrows and indicate the direction of the tour to the Fernandez the tour to the Fernandez couple. Make sure that you have a starting point A and an ending point D in South Africa. So of course, we are going to refer to the map. So we can just see the map that we are given. So we're going to indicate on this map the arrows in terms of and also in terms of point A and B. But we know that the journey is starting from Cape Town, coming back again at Cape Town. So we check according to information given. We try to refer back and see in terms of the information that we are given. So you see that this is the road map and distances of Namakato. So it starts from Cape Town to Landgeben. So if we refer back to our map, I will see that we've got Cape Town here. So that's where we're going to have our point A. And then Landgeben, you see that this is the Landgeben. So we are going to have arrows that are going to go this way. And then from there, I will say that it's going to be Kagakama to Port Indigo. I will indicate that our second leg is the Landgeben to Clan William. I will say that this is Clan William as we indicate here. And then from there, we've got Kagakama to Port Indigo. We see that this is also indicated on the map. So we are just going to indicate as such. In leg 3, we see that this is the part of the distance that we are going to have, whereby we've got 657.1 kilometers via N7 from Kagakama to Port Indigo. We move on to the next one, whereby we have got leg 4. So this is going to be our leg 4. Then leg 5, leg 6. So of course our arrows are just going to follow that. Leg 7, also have leg 8. So as indicating, remember we are supposed to indicate a point A and a point B. So point B is supposed to be Uppington. As you see that this is the last leg that we have. That is going to be from Kalagad National Park to Uppington. So indicating on the map, we are going to see that this is the correct indication in terms of arrows. we are seeing that it first from Cape Town, um, to Lagabel. See that this is what we have, and then we've got this arrow showing all the legs that we are having going up, and then the arrows come back as we go the other way, following all the legs until we reach this point, and they come this way, coming back to point B. So we've got point A and B. So they, from point A, the arrows go this way, but they are going to wind back as they come back to Uppington and point B. So basically, this is the response in terms of the first part. So moving on to 3.1.2, number the accommodation from 1 to 8. Number the accommodation from 1 to 8. So of course, see that accommodation 1, we've got Lagabel. So we are supposed to number Lagabel as 1, and then we've got the second accommodation that we have here in Katakama. We also have third accommodation that we have here at Port Indigo. Fourth is the Richardsville National Park, and then we've got Agabresa National Park. We have them as such continuation. We see that we have got these accommodations as 5, and then see that the 6th one is the Malopo Kalahari Lodge. We also have the Tui Riverian Rest Camp Cottage, and then last part we've got River City Inn. So as numbered from 1 to 8, see that these are the points that we have, whereby we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the number that we are supposed to be indicated. Then we go to the third part where we have to develop a key for the map. So you see that the key is a typical key that you can come up with. We have got C representing West Coast National Park, whereby we have got our C. This part. And then we have got the D, which is representing Richardsville National Park. So we go to D. We have got Richardsville National Park in this part. And then E, we have got Agrapis and Falls National Park representing E. So if we check in terms of E, E is on this part. Then we have got F, Kalagandi at Transfrontier Park. F, we also have F is indicated on this part. So this is our F. So this is the part of question 3.1.1 to 3.1.3. So of course, after that, we are supposed to go to 3.2. There were no direct flights available from Rio de Janeiro to Cape Town on 8 August 2017. The Fernandez couple took the cheapest flight. How many stops are there during the flight, and what is the duration of the flight? So we get the information in terms of the number of stops that are there and the duration of the flight. Of course, this is indicated in the information that we have. So if we go at the beginning of the information, we try to see where do we get that information. So we can see that there are 2 stops. There are 2 stops that are there. Then in terms of the duration, which means the time that's supposed to be taken, we see that it's indicated on this part. Whereby we have got 35 hours and 15 minutes. 35 hours, 50 minutes is the correct duration for the flight from Rio de Janeiro to Cape Town. So we Then we say the next part of our question. Whereby we have got 3.3. 3.3 reads as the arrival time in Cape Town is 11:45 plus 2. Explain what this means. So obviously, this means they will arrive in Cape Town 2 days after boarding the plane. So the plus 2 is indicating that they are going to arrive 2 days after. So that's the interpretation of that. That is on 3.3. So we check in terms of interpretation of that notation, where they're saying they will arrive in Cape Town 2 days after boarding at the plane. So that's the correct response of that one. We move on to the next question. We've got 3.4, which says Brazil is also a BRICS country. Therefore, the Fernandez couple won't need a visa to travel to South Africa. Name 2 documents they will need to visit South Africa. Obviously, they would need a passport, then an alternative document that is also needed. It can be an international driver's license, or it can be international driver's permit. So those are the documents that can be required instead of a visa. So that is what we have for 3.4. So we've got passports, international driver's permit, or international driver's license. So these are the documents that can be required. So we go to the next part, which is now 3.5. Calculate the estimated distance the Fernandez couple will travel during the Namakwa tour. So the summary of the Namakwa tour, we see that it is on the part of the legs where we are given those legs, whereby we have got 132.4 kilometers. So we're going to add all the distances that way from leg 1 to leg 8. So say 132.4 kilometers plus 173.9 kilometers plus 657.1 kilometers. We go to the next part, whereby we are also going to add 188.3 kilometers, and then we add 334.8 kilometers. 276.9 kilometers, and then 879.9 kilometers, also 253 kilometers. And then if you add, you're going to get a total of 2,096.3 kilometers, which is going to be the total according to our question. Our question is saying, calculate the distance the Fernandez couple will travel. So that is 2,096.3 kilometers. So this is exactly as indicated. In our other section, we've got 2,096.3 kilometers. Move on to the next question. Determine during which leg of the tour they will travel the most kilometers for the day. So again, we are going to go through all the legs and see which one is going to be highest. So leg 1 is 132, 173, 657, 657 obviously is going to be the highest. We compare which one is bigger than or higher than 657. Going down, we see that we've got 657, which is the highest. So 657 is in leg 3. So leg 3. So our question is, determine during which leg of the tour they will travel the most kilometers for the day. This is going to be leg 3. So leg 3 is our response. So moving on to the next question. We say scope the following table and calculate the budget on traveling costs and accommodation for the Fernandez couple. So we have got flight costs, car rental, accommodation. So we start with flight costs. Of course, if we go to Cape Town and back. So we check in terms of the amount that we have from Rio to Cape Town, that is indicated in the question. So if we go down, so Rio to Cape Town, we see that we have got 14,297, but this 14,297 rands is for one person. Remember, we have got 2 people that we have. We have got Carlos and Maria Fernandez. So it means for 2 people, it's going to be times 2. So basically, this is what we're going to have on the first part, whereby we are going to multiply 14,297 runs, and then we multiply by 2. For the flight cost, we see that for to and from Rio de Janeiro, Cape Town to Rio de Janeiro, we see that we have got 14,272, then we get 28,594. But of course, we also have the flight costs from Uppington to Cape Town. So we check that one according to information that we are having. We see that from Uppington to Cape Town, we've got 2,367. So of course, for two people, we're going to say 2,367, and then we multiply by 2. So of course, this is indicated. 2,367 around times 2, then you get 4,734. So basically, this is what we have on that one, and then we refer to the next one, which is going to be the car rental now. So for the car rental, we try to check in terms of the car rental. Car rental is here, and this is the one that we have got 6,652. 6,652 rand 72 cents is the one for car rental. So we see that is indicated also. Car rental is just a one amount. We put it there as our total. And for accommodation, we're going to take all the cost from leg 1 to leg 8. Of course, we see that we've got 2 people. So we are given the rates per person, that's the individual, then we multiply by 2 to get the total. So at Lagaben, we try to see what is indicated there. We see that leg 1, at Lagaben, we do have, at Lagaben, we do have, we check in terms of accommodations. Lagaben is 2,210, and then we are going to multiply it by 2. And then we also have at second part, we have got the Kagakama. We have got an amount of 1,884. We are going to multiply it by 2. 700 per day for 2 people. Flat number 3 multiplied by 2. Go to the Richardsville National Park, 770 multiplied by 2 again. Agrabis Falls National Park, we've got 215 per night for 2 guests. So for Agrabis, we see that is indicated as 215 per night for 2 guests. Obviously, we try to work it out again from that point. Remember, this is for 2 guests, but if you refer back to the information that we are given, you'd see that they are going to spend 2 nights at each accommodation. We try to check according to information that we have. So if you come in this part, you see that they will spend 2. They will spend 2 nights at each accommodation. We'll take note of that. So it means the rest that we are given here, if we check on the first one, it's going to be like I've been 2,210 for a 2-bed unit per night. So what it means is it's going to be for 1 night for 2 beds. So it's going to accommodate the 2 people that we have for 1 night, but then they're going to spend 2 nights. So 2,210 per night for the 2 people. So for 2 nights, it will be times 2 now. And 700 per day for 2 people. So for 2 nighs, it will be by times 2. Then this one again, we have got 1,884 per night double room for 2 people. We multiply by 2 for 2 nights. And then we go again here, 770 for the double room per night. And then we multiply by 2 for 2 nights. And then again, for 5, we do the same. 6, check in terms of 6, you see that 6 is here. 500 rands for 2 guests per night again, times 2 nights. And then this one again, times 2 nights. But then on number 8, we see that it is saying price for 2 nights. If you come in this part on the number 8, it's saying price for 2 nights. So this one you're not going to multiply by 2, but I'm going to take 1,709. Then we add the total to get that one for accommodation. So we have that as well. So see that this is a breakdown. in terms of that. See that on leg 8, we only have a flat fee of 1,790 for 2 nights. And then we add the total that we get after multiplying by 2, and then we're supposed to get 16,708 rands. And then we add the total of flight cost plus the total for car rental plus the total of accommodation. Then we get the total, which is 56,688 rands 72 cents. So this is what we have in question 3 for a total of 32 marks. So moving on to section G, that is on time zones, question 4. Use addendum B, answer the questions below. So of course, first question 4.1. Carlos Fernandez is a businessman. He and his partner have a clothing outlet in Rio de Janeiro. During the 4 days in Cape Town, we saw a few business deals that would help their business. You want to call this business partner in Rio, discuss it with him. Carlos and Maria are having dinner in the Cape Peninsula hotel while awaiting for the food who decides to phone. It is 1,800 hours, of course, in Cape Town. So, of course, the first question, will his business partner be available in the office? So, of course, if we refer back to the information given, you'd see that the one that needs to be called, we are going to Carlos Fernandez as a businessman and his partner having a clothing outlet in Digital. During the 4 days in Cape Town, we saw a business. We saw a few business deals that will help their business. We want to put his business partner in Rio to discuss it with him. Carlos Maria are having a dinner at a Cape Peninsula Hotel. So, of course, we need to find the time difference that is existing between Cape Town and Rio de Janeiro. So we go to our map. That is the first step. We go to our map and see where do we have in terms of Rio de Janeiro. So if you come here where we have got our South America, that's where we are going to have our identification of Rio de Janeiro. Of course, I will have it at this point. It is at this point. So if we check, if you go up, you'll see that this is indicating -3. So if you go up in this point, you go up. So see that this is -3 in terms of Rio de Janeiro. Then we check in terms of Cape Town now. We go where we have South Africa. So, of course, if we check according to information that we have here for Africa in this part, and Cape Town is in this part. We see that this is what we have, and it's indicating a +2. You can check at this point that it is a +2, which is being indicated at this point. We have a +2 that we have there. +2 indicating our Cape Town. So of course, now the time difference that we have got +2 for Cape Town, and then for Rio de Janeiro is -3. So you can easily see that we have got 5 hours in between. We have 5 hours in between because we are saying between -3 and +2, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. So we do have 5 hours in between. So if you go back to the time difference that we have, you'll see that we are now saying it is 1,800 hours. It is 1,800 hours in Cape Town. And if you check now the time of Rio de Janeiro, we see that Brazil is behind the time for Cape Town, because Cape Town is +2, and Brazil Rio de Janeiro is -3. So Cape Town is ahead with 5 hours according to the time difference. So we are supposed to subtract 5 hours from 1,800 hours, and then we get your 1,300 hours. So it means it will be at 1 p.m. So it means these are working hours. So obviously, the question is saying, will his business partner be available in the office? So it's going to be yes. In terms of motivating, it is because the time that the call is going to be made, it is part of the business hours. So basically, this is our response to that. So we are saying this is the calculation whereby read data with minus 3 kept out plus 2 times difference 5 hours, then you subtract from 1800 hours, which is the same day. And then in our response, we are saying, yes, you'll be able to speak to his business partner because it will still be office hours. So basically, this is what we have on that part. The next question, we go to 4.2. Unfortunately, Carlos could not speak to Luis around this because he had to leave the office to attend an agent conference in Mumbai, India. It is 12 August 2017. And when Carlos is having dinner, he must contact his business partner. While Carlos is in the dining room, Luis is on a plane on his way to Mumbai. The message Carlos got is that Luis left the office at 10:00 hours to be at the airport 2 hours before flight departs at 1200 hours. So of course, this is 10:00 hours. It means 10 a.m. and this will be 12 p.m. To Mumbai. So flight duration is 13 hours. So our question is determine when Luis will arrive at Mumbai International Airport. Show all calculations. So in terms of that now, we check again a time difference between Rio de Janeiro and Mumbai. And Mumbai is in India, and of course Rio de Janeiro we have seen that it is a -3 -3. So we go back to our map and now try to find the coordinate for Mumbai. So we check according to what we are given, but of course we see that Mumbai is further where we have got India. So we check where we have got India. So we are here. So if we check according to the information that we have, we try to see where we find that. So if you come here, you'll see that Mumbai is at this point. And you see that it is indicated as plus 5.5. So you can just maybe try to highlight that, whereby we've got here Mumbai, and it is 5.5 plus 5.5. So it means we've got a plus 5.5 for Mumbai, and then in Rio de Janeiro, we've got a -3. So basically, if you come at the top here, you see that we've got a 5.5 on this part. It's going to be a 5.5 plus 5.5 is in this part. And then of course we are going to compare it with a -3. So we put a -3 at this point. So basically this is Mumbai, and this is the Rio de Janeiro. So to count the number of hours that we have in between, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 0.5 becomes 8 hours, 30 minutes. So the 0.5 is 30 minutes, so it's 8 hours, 30 minutes. So we've got 8 hours, 30 minutes in between the two. So if you go back to our question now, in terms of our question, it's now saying, determine when Luis will arrive at the Mumbai International Airport. Then Luis obviously is going to depart Rio de Janeiro, and the time that you are given is the Mumbai time, which is departs in 400 to Mumbai. So the 1200 is the time that we are given in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. So of course, we see that the Rio de Janeiro time is behind the Mumbai time. So that is what we have. So in that case, what we are going to do is we are going to add 8 hours 30 minutes that is in between to make an equivalence of the Indian time. So we add 8 hours and 30 minutes to the departure time, which is 1200 hours. Then we get the departure time um, according to the Indian time. So we do that. We add 8 hours 30 minutes. So this is what we have for this part. You see that the time difference is 8.5 hours, which is 8.5, and then we've got 8 hours 30 minutes. And then we add 1200. So departure time using the Indian time, this was going to be 2030. 2030. And then we are being informed also that the duration of the flight is 13 hours. So we now add 13 hours. We now add 13 hours on this part. So plus 13 on this part. And if we add 13, we get 33, 33.30, which is 33 hours, 30 minutes. So we need to subtract 24 hours for the day of the departure. Remember, we go back, you can see that the departure day was 12 August. We need to subtract the 24 hours for 12 August, which means that the arrival time is going to be 13 August. So we now remove the 24 hours from 33 hours 30 minutes, and then minus 24 hours, we are left with 9 hours 30 minutes, which is going to be 0930. So this is going to be at the arrival time in India or the following day, which is 13 August 17. So this is the calculation that we have for that part. And then moving on to 4.2.2, Carlos will phone in with 2 hours after he arrives. Determine the time that Carlos must phone in with from Cape Town. So we now make a comparison of the Mumbai time and the Cape Town time. So that is what we have. So we have got Mumbai and Cape Town. Mumbai and Cape Town, but we want to compare. But of course, we see that Mumbai is plus 5.5, and then Cape Town is plus 2, as from our previous calculations. So we now check the time difference between 5.5 and plus 2. We see that we say 5.5 minus 2, we get 3 hours 30 minutes. So there's time difference of 3 hours 30 minutes between Mumbai and Cape Town, and Mumbai being ahead in terms of time. So in that case now, the time that we are dealing with, we are now saying the time that we are dealing with, because the question says Carlos will phone with 2 hours after he arrives. So we have seen that arrival time is 9:30. According to our calculation on this part, it is 9:30 in the morning. So if we add 2 hours, which is 2 hours after, it's going to be 11:30. And then 11:30, we subtract 3 hours 30 minutes. That is the time difference. You get your time is 800 hours, which is 8 a.m. So that is the time that we are going to consider. So we go to our calculations and you get a such whereby Mumbai is plus 5.5, then Cape Town is plus 2. The time difference between the two becomes 3 hours 30 minutes. And then to now add the 3 hours and 30 minutes to the 800 hours that we have. We see that the time that is going to be called, 800 hours is our final answer. So basically, this is what we have for that part. Then in terms of 4.3, after Carlos and Maria's long flight to South Africa, they experienced a certain travel conditions. Identify this condition. Of course, this is jet lag. It is jet lag, as indicated on this part. Then on the next question, list 4 symptoms of the travel condition we identified in question 4.3. So the 4 symptoms of jet lag. So these are the symptoms that we have listed: disturbed sleeping patterns, heartburn, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, loss of appetite, difficult to concentrate, feeling disoriented. So further symptoms that we have and that you can also include. So this is what we have on that part. Then 4.5, copy the following table and discuss how the United Scaffold could prevent the travel conditions identified in 4.3. That is the jet lag before the flight and during the flight, how they can take precaution. That is before the flight and during the flight. So we have got that analysis on the spot whereby before the flight, change your sleep routine a few days before you travel. Get enough sleep before you travel. Keep calm, medication. Then in terms of during the flight, drink lots of liquids, water. Rest during the flight. Avoid caffeine. Avoid alcohol. Keep active. Change your watch when you board the plane. So that is what we have on that part. Then on the last question, explain the concept daylight saving time. So daylight saving time only appears in summer and when there is 1 hour extra daylight in the day because the sun sets later. So that is the explanation in terms of daylight saving time. Of course, this is all what we have in terms of our video, in terms of the whole question paper, a typical March test examination paper. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. And let's not forget to subscribe and share, and also share the link to our colleagues who are doing the tourism. As for this video, I'm signing out. Let's meet again in the next video.